Hey everyone, welcome to another one of the Millennial Minute video series. It is 3 a.m. in the morning and I am doing this video because I know I have committed to doing uh, one video every day and I am behind time. Sorry about that. But today I want to talk about the quarter life crisis. What about the quarter life crisis? We've covered the definition. We've also talked about the symptoms of quarter life crisis. How do we move on from there? How do we overcome quarter life crisis? So I'm going to share with you about 5 to 6 tips that you can, um, you know, uh, take to overcome the quarter life crisis. Some tips that you can adapt and use for yourself. So the first thing that we need to do is to stop comparing. It's a human nature to compare ourselves with our peers, people around us, especially now with Instagram and Facebook and all this social media. You just see all the good stuff. You are in this echo chamber where you will see people celebrating all their small wins and the big leaps and things like that, but you don't really see the struggles that they're going through. And not everyone is as authentic to share the kind of problems that they have on social media, because why would you do that? Why would you embarrass yourself and why would you want to share something that is very personal, that makes you look vulnerable, right? Not everyone is comfortable doing that, so you don't see everyone, and because you don't see it in the majority, you think you are the only one who has these kind of problems, which is not true. The truth of the matter is that everyone goes through these problems, but not everyone shares it as openly on social media. So think of it like the iceberg. There's a lot going on below the surface, and it'll be wise to actually understand that, hey, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more going on. Somebody's success is not something that you see overnight. I think it's the Pokemon founder. I can't remember his name, but he's the one who said it takes you 19 years, 20 years to become an overnight success. So there's a lot of hard work that goes into these people who are successful, and there are, of course, the unicorns who suddenly just rise to fame and fortune, but not all of us are like that. So keep that in mind, and don't beat yourself up because you fail to be like on par when you compare yourself with the people around you, the circle around you. Stop comparing, because it's not going to do you any good. If at all you want to compare, uh, compare with someone who you think is lower than you. Don't compare with someone who's higher than you, because comparing will never get you anywhere. It's jokes aside, it's never going to be of any kind of help. So stop comparing. The second thing you need to do is to start talking about it. So it is normal to feel like you don't have anyone to talk to. You don't want to talk to your parents about it, because then they'll start worrying and then they'll start nagging at you. Sometimes your siblings are not available, they are too busy, or they may not be the right people to listen to you. So maybe siblings may not be an avenue. And sometimes our friends also are just too busy with their own careers and things like that. And colleagues can't be bothered sometimes. So it can feel like you can't talk to anyone. But if you actually reach out to that one person, I'm sure you can think of one person. Maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's your uncle or your aunt. That one person who's like your aunt agony. Just reach out to that person and talk to the person. Spend time, talking to the person. Even better, go on a holiday and talk to strangers. And if you can, find that person who's willing to listen to you, and just let your heart out. I think something that we can also consider is actually having a counselor, not for maybe like multiple sessions, but maybe 1 or 2 sessions, just to let out all that burden, all that thoughts, all that feelings, all that angst, or all that worries that you're holding on to, because it's not good to keep it inside. You got to let it out. You got to purge it out. And the best way to purge it out is to have someone who listen to you. And sometimes, if it means getting a counselor, then by all means, go ahead and find a counselor. It is a very common thing in the West to have a shrink, a psychologist, or a counselor to listen to you. But in Asia, it has not really caught on as popularly, which I think will change slowly. But you got to see the benefits first. You got to first invest in counseling. Having been trained as a counselor myself in psychotherapy, I know that this is something that definitely helps people. So this is something that you might want to consider. Get a shrink, find someone you can talk to. You don't really have to go through the paid method. You can go through a friend. If you have someone who is willing to listen to you for hours and hours, give you that time, you have all the best relationships in the world that you can ask for, because that's all that you really need when you're going through this kind of a quarter life crisis where everything seems very bleak, right? Stop shooting yourself. That's the third thing I want to say. Don't say that I should be having a girlfriend or boyfriend by now. I should be making this much amount of money by now. I should be so successful by now. I should be this. I should be that. Stop giving yourself these kind of markers. These markers are good to have as a guideline, but it should not be stressful to the point where it wears you down. It weighs you down. It makes you feel horrible just because you haven't achieved certain things. Life doesn't happen exactly the way we want it. Life is what happens when we're making plans. So chill out, just go with the flow. Things will take its turn, take its time, but just keep your mind on the outcome. Focus on the outcome, and eventually you'll get there. So what if you didn't become an author by 27? You become an author by the time you're 28. It's okay, you still become an author. So don't be like I think this is something that we get from our exams. You don't want to be the student who retains, so you want to pass and then you want to be on par with your peers. But after you enter the workforce, it's very hard to see who is more successful than the other. You shouldn't even be comparing. You should just focus on yourself and see, are you better than who you were the year before, right? Are you better than your past? And that's the only thing that you should be comparing with. And give yourself some guidelines and just follow those things. Don't beat yourself down and say, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, because it's not going to do you any good, right? The fourth thing that I would say is, after you've kind of cut out these negative habits and negative actions, like comparing and shooting yourself, the next thing you need to do is to really explore, right? Who you are. Give yourself that time. Maybe you've been in that rat race. As a student, you really wanted to do well in studies, and then after you became a really good student, you graduated with your tertiary education certificates, and then you go into the workforce, and then you want to be a really good employee, and you're working towards this promotion, and then it's the next promotion, and the next promotion, and it never ends, right? It's like a rat race. You're always stuck. You become like a corporate zombie every day, doing the same thing, in and out, hoping to get a pay raise or hoping to get a better position or a better company. It never ends. So chill out, slow down, take the time to understand what you really like, what are you really passionate about, what are some strengths that you have, what are your personality traits, right? How you really enjoy to communicate, how you prefer people communicate with you, how you can work together with different types of people. Go and figure that out. Learn your personality, learn your strengths. What are some of your characteristics? What are some of your strengths? How do people perceive you? What are the top 3 words people use to maybe describe who you are as an individual? Go and find out these things. And find out what are your values, right? Go and Google what personal value exercises, and you'll see how you can actually find out the different values that you hold. Eliminate those values that you are away from, that you push away from, and identify those values that pull you towards it, right? Find out your values, find out your strengths, find out your personality, find out about you, find out who you are as a person. And after you've done that, the next step, the 5th step, I think, is to really start setting some goals, because now you have a bit of awareness. You know what you like, you know what you want, you know your passion, you know your strengths. Put these things together and brainstorm. What are some possibilities? What are some options? It doesn't mean you just quit your job and then follow your passion the next day. No. Maybe, let's say, for example, you have a passion in flower arrangement, or you have a passion in photo taking, or you want to be a YouTuber. Whatever it is, start small, build some habits along those lines. Set some goals. Maybe every day I'll do something, just 1 minute or 2 minutes. I'll put in some effort to grow this like a plant, right? You water it every day, little bit by little bit. You just water it, make sure it grows a little bit until it becomes really big and sustainable. Then you can really let go of things that you don't really want, maybe your corporate life, and then follow your passion, do what you really enjoy, and then you realize, hey, this is one of the ways you mature. I learn to identify what I want, what I enjoy, what I'm good at, what people appreciate, and do what is impactful, meaningful for the society. So when you kind of do all these things, it is one way to get out of that depressive state, that frustration, that sadness, and really mature into someone who is capable, who has clear vision and direction of what you want to do in the future, and you build a new identity around yourself, which is not just solely based on your profession, but it's also based on other areas of your life. So not just your career, but also in your personal social life, in your health and fitness, in your spiritual life. Go and set the same goals, go and set the same guidelines, some habits, focus on those things, and do your best to balance everything. So when you do all of these things, it will life will typically come together again, because at the end of the day, you all you got to do is keep moving, and making sure that you don't just stay stuck. Once you stay stuck, the darkness will start and cloud you in. So you don't want that. You want to keep moving and make sure that you are always staying positive, and having that momentum always helps. Make sure you're always taking action, because momentum improves your morale, right? So these are some tips to overcome that quarter life crisis that you may be going through. Of course, if you know you are going through it, then definitely there are others who are going through it as well. So see if you can find a community where you can support one another, because once you have a support group, then it becomes so much easier to live another day, to continue on your journey, to give you that push that some days you may be feeling tired. For me, for example, when I see a lot of my friends putting up videos on LinkedIn, I know that, hey, I need to keep pushing myself and put out my videos for everyone to see, because that's the community, right? The community gives you that added edge, the added motivation, the added drive, and the environment really drives your performance. So thank you, LinkedIn family, for being there, for putting out your videos, because your videos inspire me, and the same thing for you. If you're going through a quarter life crisis, find a group where everyone is so united, who comes together and shares their problems, because alone you may feel a little bit depressed, but together at least you feel like you belong somewhere, and then you can move to you might have some kind of a progress because you're in it together, right? So that's it from me today. 5 tips on how you can overcome that quarter life crisis. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you have any questions regarding the quarter life crisis, please feel free to comment below. And if you think someone should watch this video, please tag them as well, right? Because no one wants to be in that situation of sadness, depression, and frustration. All right, so that's it from me. I will see you guys tomorrow, and let me know what are some of the other areas you want me to talk about with regards to the millennials. Till then, I'll sign off. See you guys. Bye.